What up, HyperChange? Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Schemin' Weekly Podcast, where we go over tech news, startup of the week, Tesla Reddit thread of the week, and just kind of get our hands dirty on what's happening in tech. It says that it could replace all air freight among GCC countries. So last week, during the Global Manufacturing and Industrialization Summit in Abu Dhabi, HyperLoop One, the startup that came out of Elon Musk's original idea to put for Hyperloop, which is a tube underground that's like vacuum controlled that shoots these pods in the tube at 400 miles an hour, a totally new way to transport humans and apparently now cargo. So HyperLoop One, a startup that is actually bringing to light this technology, creating it, building it, is saying in Abu Dhabi that they're going to be able to replace air freight. So instead of taking just passengers, they want to do cargo. And so they have a very interesting take on this. HyperLoop One is claiming that this surface freight market is a potential $3 billion opportunity for them alone, even capturing a fraction of the market. They also, at the summit, unveiled a HyperLoop One partner program, which is a way to get different partners involved, like transportation policies, people who work at cities, that kind of thing. And it's interesting to note because the first actual commercial installation of Hyperloop looks like it's going to be in Abu Dhabi, and that'll start their foothold in that part of the world, and then we'll see what goes from there. But really interesting to see that Elon's vision of, instead of taking people from one place to another with Hyperloop, now we can displace cargo as well. So just really fascinating technology, and I think it's crazy how fast the Hyperloop has actually came to life. We're still waiting for something to be installed and operational. Of course, that's going to be another couple years down the road, but very cool to see progress happening, presenting at real-world summits, already describing the industries that Hyperloop is about to disrupt. Second piece of tech news for the day, Blue Apron is apparently about to IPO. All the rumors for their IPO have been in the works for a while, but now it's finally heating up. So Blue Apron, for those who don't know, is a meal kit startup. So they will send you all these ingredients, a really cool recipe, and then all you got to do is cook up the ingredients. They're already measured out and do the recipe, and then you have this amazing meal. You didn't have to go grocery shopping. You didn't have to look up a recipe. All the kind of hard work was done for you. You just get all the fun of the cooking. Great concept. I love the idea. I think it's a really cool product. There's actually a bunch of companies doing this. Blue Apron competes with HelloFresh, which is another one that's very similar, more of a healthy, like health food kind of niche focus. And there's another company called Plated, which seems like to have a little more gourmet focus. Anyway, a ton of these startups are popping up, and now Blue Apron would be the first one to IPO. I personally think this is going to be really fascinating because I have no idea how they're actually making money or profitable. In the TechCrunch article I'll link to, they provide some speculation that it looks like Blue Apron was trying to IPO because of venture capitalist pressure. The fact is the company's already raised about $200 million in venture, which is insane. And in terms of what the actual size of the company is, they haven't filed their S1 filing with all their financials yet, so we don't 100% know. Yeah, so at the end of 2014, Blue Apron announced they were doing about 1 million meals a month, which averages out to almost 120 million in revenue, which is pretty crazy. And that's just per month. So they're doing over $1 billion in annual revenue, but the gross profit on that has got to be kind of low. They're buying all the ingredients, they're doing all the shipping. So it's pretty interesting to see. And the last valuation they had in April 2016 was about $2 billion, where they raised 135 million and said they were selling 8 million meals a month. So Blue Apron is probably doing significantly over $1 billion run rate in revenue. According to TechCrunch's analysts, they did at least over $1 billion in 2016, and they're growing like crazy. So maybe 2.5, 3 billion in revenue this year for Blue Apron. Incredibly impressive. They also had an acquisition in the works where they bought a supplier called BN Ranch to supply them with pastured pork, turkey, and chicken, which is an interesting kind of evolution of their strategy, going a little more vertical, it seems. Yeah, so my kind of take on Blue Apron is very cool company, and I like their angle of, oh, we're going to give you fresh, amazing, high-quality food from sustainable farms, but my one tiny problem with that pitch is the amount of waste whenever you get a Blue Apron. Like, if you've ever received one of their packages, every little ingredient is individually wrapped in like 3 layers of plastic, and there's all these little cardboard, and like if there's some things that are refrigerated, there's special packaging for that. So I think there's a big dichotomy in them trying to pitch themselves as like sustainable food sourcing, even though their packaging is like as unsustainable as it gets. And I I think that's something they're going to face head on if they have the scrutiny of the public market watching them. And I think their profitability, which is probably very weak, is also something the market's not going to like. But we haven't actually seen any of the real financials from any of these food delivery companies, so it'll be fascinating to see that when and if Blue Apron does in fact file its S1. They are the leader in the space. I think they're doing more revenue than anybody else. Interesting to see. We'll keep our tabs on the Blue Apron IPO, which could be one of the biggest of the year if it actually occurs. Next piece of news. Last week, Amazon announced that it's starting its own social media influencer program. This is a huge deal, and it's very hard to kind of wrap your head around. Okay, so basically what this means is that Amazon is going to allow social media influencers to set up a store through Amazon, and if you make purchases through that individual influencer store, they get revenue. So this is like an incredible way for influencers to begin to monetize things, and is a great way for Amazon to get into this referral business, which seems to be taking off like crazy. I think Amazon is doing this with a little different approach than all the other influencers are because they already have the network of products. So it's not like the vendors have to sign up and enlist to be in this program. Literally every product on Amazon is already eligible for it. I think that's huge. And they give an example of one of the early trial members of this program is a YouTube channel called What's Up Moms, which gives parenting advice. And now they have a little store where they can sell all the products they're recommending to parents. And that's just an example to show how that YouTube channel could generate extra revenue. They're going to drive more traffic and sales to Amazon, like a very cool model. And the future of e-commerce is 100% headed in the direction of influencers. Brands are already paying tons of money, thousands of dollars on a one-by-one basis just to get promotions for influencers on Instagram, YouTube, you name it. So now to see Amazon formalize this, allow it to be a new revenue stream for influencers, I think is going to cement Amazon's lead in e-commerce and makes you, if you're a vendor with a product, it gives you another reason to list on Amazon now because you're part of this whole affiliate marketing program, which can drive a massive amount more incremental revenue and then allows you to do all these cool social campaigns with influencers. Like, I love to see what Amazon is doing here. Very cool to see them get into the game and sort of legitimize this influencer marketing business that has been on the rise for a couple years now. Craziest piece of news, startup of the week. Elon Musk is founding a new company. Yes, this blew my mind. This is like unbelievably epic. So now he's running SpaceX, he's running Tesla, which just bought SolarCity, the other company he was chairman of. He has a nonprofit organization called OpenAI to stop the advancement and scary robot takeover of artificial intelligence. And now, last week, Elon Musk announces a new startup called Neuralink. Mind-boggling technology. What does Neuralink do? They want to create a neural lace, basically a way for computers to read your brain and like this implant in your mind so your thoughts can automatically go to the cloud. You can Google things without typing, and you can implant artificial intelligence in your brain, making you smarter, making us cyborgs, crazy futuristic stuff, probably 20 or 30 years down the road till the chip in our brain vision happens. The company is going to start by tackling medical diseases like depression, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and is going to build their knowledge of the neural lace by doing that. So Elon's assembled a bunch of academics to work on this. It's a crazy company. If you follow Elon Musk, you'll notice he's done a lot of talking about this concept of a neural lace and how there's a lot of barriers about implementing human thought into computers and having humans interact with computers on a much higher level. And I guess part of his reasoning behind this is that he's super paranoid about the advancement of artificial intelligence. Elon has even gone on to like describe this scenario where artificial intelligence becomes so much more advanced than humans that humans become nothing more than like a house pet equivalent to the artificial intelligence. So Elon Musk, to combat this, wants to create Neuralink so that humans can be just as smart or equally as smart as the AI and compete and evolve with AI. So this is sort of a weird way for him to stop the zombie apocalypse or doomsday robot takeover, but this is what he's doing. So I don't know, crazy concept. Of course, Elon Musk is the guy to launch this. Blows my mind. And the one thing that really kind of freaks me out is like, what's up with this whole hacking cybersecurity thing? So if I have a chip in my brain that's like connected to Google, whatever, what if I get hacked? Can my brain literally get hacked? Now my whole body is connected to the internet. Someone can start controlling my mind if they hack into my Neuralink chip. Like that freaks the hell out of me and makes the robot takeover even more likely. So this better be encrypted like hell, Elon. Otherwise, I'm never buying one. And I don't know, even if it was encrypted, I still wouldn't buy it probably because the CIA is definitely going to hack into this. Anyway, probably like, yeah, mind-bogglingly crazy startup. HyperChange is going to keep covering whatever Neuralink does. Probably going to be quiet for a couple years because I feel like they just have absurd amounts of R&D to get going on this because the tech just seems so far away. But like, crazy cool idea. Elon Musk has taken things to the next level. One of my buddies tried to ask, like, what do I think about this from the lens of a Tesla shareholder? Am I worried he's going to spend less time at Tesla? Is this going to distract his energy? Like, how does this change the thesis with Tesla? I actually think it helps accelerate the bull thesis of Tesla in a weird way, because Tesla actually has a lot in common with Neuralink on a weird level. They're building this massive fleet of autonomous cars, which have sort of a neural network and are all going to have to interact with each other on the cities of the future and like be this robot taxi fleet that controls itself, knows where to go, is integrating all this data, is basically like a mini or a massive neural network of self-driving Teslas. So I see synergies there of like advancing this technology and using that advancement to make Tesla's autopilot and Tesla network software and technology the best in the world. So that's kind of an exciting future avenue and a synergy I see there. And beyond that, I just think like Elon Musk is such a creative and powerful entrepreneur. Like whatever he's got to do, he's got to do. That's like part of the drawback of having such an amazing CEO is that he might start a cyborg company because he's such a genius. Like I'm going to live with that, like. Sure, no other automaker CEO is distracted by having a cyborg company, but no other automaker CEO is distracted by having a rocket company, and Elon Musk is killing all of them. Like, he's doing something right. He's figured out a way to make this work. He either knows how to delegate, or he's literally a robot himself, and that's how he figures out how to do all this. But like, I don't know. So I think it's sort of a net positive because I think it'll help advance Tesla's lead in creating an autonomous fleet of robot taxis faster than any other car company. So from that lens, it's a good point, but there's definitely the drawback of Elon's focus and time is just physically limited, and therefore less of it can go to Tesla or SpaceX or a mix of both. So interesting to watch how this all unfolds, but Elon Musk keeping us on our toes, building the future faster than anybody wants to see it, whatever. Shout out Elon, cool shit. Tesla Reddit thread of the week. So, yes, this is the Sunday podcast. I'm technically recording on Monday morning. Sorry. Next week I'll record on Sunday. Anyway, Tesla stock just hit an all-time high because of their new delivery numbers they put out. I put out another video on that. And the stock price is now they're worth more than $4. They're almost at $300 a share. This has like 100 plus comments on Reddit. Everybody's going crazy. Yeah, so Tesla stock is now higher than it's ever been in the history of ever. All-time high. This makes me stoked as a shareholder. Yeah, and I think it honestly deserves it. Like, they're selling more. They just sold a record amount of cars, so it looks like the business is at a record scale. Yeah, I just think the market doesn't understand Tesla. Like, they don't understand the long-term vision Elon is building, the incredible amount of, like, future value and demand that should be embedded in the company because of the Model 3s they've already sold. Like, every day we get closer to selling the Model 3, to building the solar roof, to becoming profitable. I think the stock is just going to keep rising, or its intrinsic value is going to keep going up because the short thesis gets chipped and chipped away. Like every single day that Tesla builds more cars, does record deliveries, produces one more production version of the Model 3, like every one of those milestones just gets them closer to this inflection point of industry domination that all of us bulls have known is coming for years. And so that's why I love holding Tesla right now, and I feel like we kind of have like time on our side because every single day it seems like a tiny piece of the bear thesis gets debunked. Last week, it was all of a sudden that Tencent is now backing Tesla, owns 5% of the company, and is most likely down to put up absurd amounts more capital if Tesla were to need it in a worst case scenario. That takes away this whole thing of like, oh, what are they going to do if they need to raise billions? Then, this week, everyone was worried that demand from the Model 3 was going to kill sales of the Model S and X, and Tesla was going to have an awful first 2 quarters. Proved them all wrong. They had the highest ever sales in a quarter. So, like, just incredible execution by Tesla. I think the share price should be at an all-time high, given the way the company's executing. They should be worth more than Ford, given they're structurally just going to be way more profitable. Their gross margins are higher. They have a different business model. They're also selling batteries. This is a tech company, not a car company. Anyway, yeah, so congrats to all the Tesla longs. Anyway, that's the Sunday Scheming podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tune in next week. We got some real cool stuff coming in. New startup, new Tesla Reddit thread, new tech news. Anyway, see you guys next week. Peace.